Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time we'll be doing a really pretty set of stiletto nails. So the first thing that I'm doing is just going in and removing all of her bling. It's actually been 3 weeks since I did this set, and as you can see, everything still looks really good. All of her bling stayed on for the most part, so that is definitely a really good thing. As always, I use the Soleil nail adhesive for this set, and it just goes to show how good it is. Of course, you know, she was missing a few here and there, but for the most part, everything still looked really good after 3 weeks. But I'm just using a pair of nippers to remove the bling, and then since she do have the colored acrylic on a lot of her nails, we are going to go in and remove the colored acrylic as well after we remove the bling. Alrighty, and she did have a broken nail, which is this thumb. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down. I'm gonna file down the acrylic, and then I'm gonna soak it off, and I'm gonna replace it with a new nail. You could always just use a form to fix it, but I like to just go ahead and remove it and then just add a brand new nail. So as always, we're gonna thin the acrylic down as much as we can. That way it helps with speeding up the process. And then after that, while that soaks, we're gonna go ahead and remove the colored acrylic from the rest of the nails. As always, I'm using an extra quartz drill bit, which is a safety drill bit, and we're just gonna file all of the colored acrylic away. I do use the clear acrylic underneath the colored acrylic. That way, whenever we come back to do a fill, we can just simply file away the colored acrylic. That's why it's really important to always go in with your clear or pink or whatever color you want to use as a base, and then go in and apply your colored acrylic. And that's for this reason, so next time we can go in and take it off. Again, this is an extra quartz drill bit. You do want to make sure that you use at least a coarse or extra quartz, and also that it's a safety drill bit so you don't cut your clients. As always, just file around the cuticle area first, and then filing the rest of the nail, and just going back and forth until you are finally, or after you remove all of the colored acrylic. It is going to take a little bit, you know, longer than usual, but you have to go in and remove all of the colored acrylic. And then of course, you know, if your client wants to keep the same colors on their nails, then you would just go in and fill the nails in with those same colors that she already had in. But if they want something different, then you will have to go in and just, you know, remove the acrylic. Now, say they wanted something completely different and you did not do a layer of clear underneath, then most likely you would have to do a full set, which means that you would have to soak off that set and do a new one. But that's only if you did not do clear underneath the colored acrylic and they want something completely different, and most likely you have no choice but to do a new set. Alrighty, and I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that for this next finger, this ring finger, I'm not going to be removing the off-white color because the design that she wants on this nail requires for me to do the off-white color on it. And since we already have it, we're going to go ahead and leave it on there and just fill it in with that same color. But if we wanted to take it off, of course, we could. So after this, we're going to go ahead and just finish off the pinky. And as you can see, this one didn't have any colored acrylic on there. So we're just going to go ahead and normally, remove that gel polish that was on there. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and just move on to the next step, which would be, pushing back the cuticles, removing the shine from the natural nail. And then as far as your cuticle pusher, you can use any cuticle pusher that you want, whether it's metal, plastic, wood. The only thing is you want to make sure that you can dispose of it or disinfect it. And I just use this one, which is from Amazon, and it actually came with this and a pair of nippers, but whatever you want to use is fine. And again, to remove the shine, we're going in with a 180 sanding band, and we're just going around the cuticle area from the right side over to the left side, just going back and forth until we fully remove the shine from the natural nail. Remember, this step is really important because if you leave any shine on that natural nail and you apply the acrylic over it, the acrylic will lift up really easily. So make sure that you remove all of the shine, and also you can do all of this with just a regular hand file, but of course it takes a little bit more time, and with the drill it just speeds up the process, and I feel like it makes everything a lot easier. But it does take some practice to just get comfortable with it. So I understand if you're a beginner and you're not using one, but you'll only get better if you practice with it. Anyways, now we're gonna go in and just dust the nails off, and then we're gonna go in with the primer. I'm using the Young Nail Protein Bond. We're applying that on all of the nails, and then after this we can go in and apply the acrylic. Alrighty, so now we're going to go in and apply the acrylics. So as always, I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink. And I'm using my alpha brush in a number 10. And we're going to start applying the acrylic. As you can see, I'm kind of doing the method as if it was a new set, especially on the nails that we remove the colored acrylic, because whenever we apply the colored acrylic, we only do a thin layer of acrylic, so the nails are really thin once we remove that. So basically we have to go in and reapply all of the acrylic that we removed, but we're doing that with the Mia Secret pink. So as always, just make sure that the acrylic is thick enough around your tip area and your apex area, because you don't want just really flat nails, because you don't want them to break off so easily. So as always, make sure that you look at your nail from different angles, making sure that you have a strong enough apex, because you don't want to just hit your nail on something and it break off really easily. And then as always, we want to make sure that we wipe the sides off as we're working, as well as the cuticle area, because we don't want any product on the sides or on the skin, because we will get lifting. And then whenever I wipe the sides, that's just to make sure that I keep my shape. If we don't, the acrylic sometimes runs over to the side, and then it'll leave those rough edges, and then we'll have to do a lot more filing. So that's just going to save us time whenever we get towards the end. But again, we're just applying our beads closer to the cuticle area on the nails that did not have colored acrylic. So on those, we're just going to do a regular feel. Of course, if we need to go in and apply a little bit more acrylic, that's fine as well. But on the nails that we remove the colored acrylic on, like this one, we have to apply more acrylic, because we have to compensate for all of the acrylic that we filed off. So again, make sure that you look at your nail from different angles. Also, make sure that when you apply your acrylic, you make sure that you brush down really gently, because you don't want to brush down too hard, because then you're going to be removing the product when you are brushing the acrylic down. Another thing that I also been wanting to mention is that your product has a lot to do with how your sets come out. If you are using like really cheap acrylic, like the kits that you find on Wish or on Amazon, most likely those products are MMA. So if you're doing acrylic nails and you notice that your nails are coming out really bumpy, the acrylic is really sticky, and the odor is really strong, then most likely you're using MMA products, especially like the number one red flag is the if the product is really cheap, because acrylic, really good acrylic or professional acrylic products are not cheap. So I would suggest, maybe just saving up your money and investing in something a lot better than just wasting your money on those products, because yeah, you don't want to use your good products on things that you're going to use to practice, but you want to make sure that you get the real feel of the professional acrylic. Because even like Mia Secret, it's a professional product, but it's very affordable. Even if you just buy the small containers, to practice with on Amazon, or even from like Nail Supply Glamour, because I do have a promo code for them, that would be really good as well. It's just a lot better than just purchasing the first little kit that you find, just because again it will give you a really hard time, even to the point where it's gonna make you want to give up. Because trust me, the very first time that I picked up a kit of acrylic, it was the Kiss kind from Walmart, and those are even really hard to work with. They dry really fast, and then the nails are really bumpy, and it's just really hard to smooth out the acrylic. The brush is even really bad. So again, I do suggest just investing a little bit more money into your product, especially your brush, because if not, it is going to give you a really hard time, and it's literally going to make you want to give up, because I've been through that stage. So for me, it's like I kind of learned from my mistakes, but I guess it's kind of like a beginner thing. You start with like the cheaper things, and then you work your way up. But I guess use this as, I don't know, just an advice, just a suggestion, I guess, to look into something a little bit better instead of just going for the cheapest thing. And that way you have a way better experience than a lot of us that didn't know any better. But anyways, we're gonna finish applying the acrylic on all of the nails, and then we'll be back. And then again, I do have a promo code for Nail Supply Glamour if you're interested in the Mia Secret acrylic system, or you can also find it on Amazon. Just wherever you can find it that's the most affordable for you, that is completely fine. I've bought it from Amazon before, I bought it from Nail Supply Glamour before, I've bought it from just about anywhere that has it the cheapest. But it's only like a few dollars of a difference, but whatever you want to do. Alright, so now that we're done applying the acrylic on all of the nails, we're going to go in and just remove the clip that was soaking off the acrylic on the thumb. We push back the cuticles. We're going to go in and remove the shine from the natural nail. And then we're going to go in and replace the tip. We're going to be using the KDS glue, applying it on the nail tip. After that, we're going to let it dry for a few seconds. We're going to trim the nail on the sides to make it into a stiletto. And then we're going to shape it into a stiletto with our 100 nail file. And also remember that when you're trimming down the nails on the sides, make sure that you're using a straight edge nail clipper. And I will have these on my website whenever it's back up and running. Most likely, I'm aiming towards next week to open up the website, but I'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as possible. And I will leave the link on my Instagram once it's back up and running. And my Instagram is getnail32, so be sure to follow me on there because that's where I really post all of my things, and you'll be informed on there once my website is back up and running. But anyways, we're shaping the nail into a stiletto. We followed the sides at a 45-degree angle, and then we applied the primer, and now we're applying the acrylic. So as always, we apply the first bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets. The second one right below that one, brushing it really gently, and then we're going in and applying the next one above the first one. And then also, if you need to apply a little bit more at the bottom, especially because when you're doing stiletto nails, those seem to break off really easily if you do not have enough acrylic at the tip, just because the tip is so narrow that you have to make sure that the tip is thick enough to where it's not going to break off. Once we have a nice thickness at the tip, we can go in and apply the acrylic towards the back. You also want to make sure you have a nice thickness at your cuticle area, which should be the thickest part of your nail, and this is what's going to give the nail its strength. If it's not thick enough and you bump your nail on something, most likely it is going to break off. You don't want just a really flat nail. You want to make sure that you have your apex right there. After this, we're going to go ahead and shape all of the nails, and then we can move on to the next step. Alrighty, so now we're going to go in with our 100 nail file, and we're going to be shaping the nails. We already have that stiletto shape that we want, but we just have to go in and perfect the shape, because after 3 weeks we get that tear and wear, and the tips kind of wear off a little bit. So we want to make sure we go in and just make them as pointed as we can, and just making sure that they're nice and straight. So we're just following the sides at a 45-degree angle, and then just rounding off the tip, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and do that on all of the nails, and then we'll be back. Alrighty, so after we finish shaping up the nails, we're going to go in with a fine drill bit and we're going to file all of the nails. As always, I start around the cuticle area, going from the right side over to the left side, just going back and forth until we're able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. And then also making sure that we file the entire nail to make sure that it's all nice and smooth. As always, you know, I'm able to apply my acrylic to where it's all nice and smooth, so I don't have to do so much filing on the entire nail. But I always make sure that I file around the cuticle area really good, because no matter how smooth your acrylic is, you still have to go in and make sure that you seal the cuticle area really good, because if not, you will get lifting. If any moisture gets trapped underneath the nail, it's going to cause the nail to lift. So you want to make sure that you file the acrylic really good. You want that acrylic to be really nice and sealed and flat and just looking good around that cuticle area. That way the nails do not lift. After that, we're going to go in with a buffer and we're just going to be buffing the nails really good. This is just going to get rid of any of the scratches left on the nail from the e-file or the hand file. So we're buffing really good, and then just make sure that with your thumb you feel on the nail to make sure that it's nice and smooth. And if you still feel any little bumps or scratches, just go in and file or buff a little bit more until it's nice and smooth. Trust me, if you don't get rid of those scratches, you will be able to see them through your polish. So just make sure that you just go in and buff the nails as best as you can. After this, we're going to go ahead and dust the nails off, and you can either have your client go wash their hands, or I just use an alcohol wipe to remove any of the excess dust. And then after that, we can go in and apply the polish. Alrighty, so next, the first color that we're going to be using is in the color Coffee Time by Madam Glam. This is the same color that I did on my nails not too long ago, and it's really pretty. So for this nail, we're going to do kind of like a French tip with white at the tip and the brown at the back. So I went ahead and did this first, cleaned up the smile line, and then after I cure this, I'm going to come back in with a second coat, and then we're going to be applying the white at the tip. And then on the other hand, we're going to do the brown on the pinky on the entire nail. And the reason why I'm going to be skipping back and forth from one hand to the other is just because she didn't really know how she wanted them. So she was just coming up with things off the top of her head. So, you know, we took a little bit of time to do this set just because we really didn't know what to do. But they came out really, really pretty, and I absolutely love this set. But anyways, we're going back in and doing a second coat on this one, and then I'm going to go in and do the white. I definitely could have did this different to where I could have did the brown on the entire nail and then the white on the tip, or you know, vice versa, but this is the first thing that came to my mind. But now we're gonna go in and do the second coat on this one, and then for the next finger, which will be the ring finger, we're gonna outline the tip on this one. We're just gonna do, you know, the sides. I'm gonna start off with this really small brush, and then I'm gonna switch to my what is this, my young nail brush, which I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. And this brush just works really good for me. I've been using it since I got it, and it definitely is good for a lot of things, as far as like doing the French tip or when I do designs like this, because it's literally the perfect size. But then after this, we're going to go ahead and switch back over to the other hand. We're going to be curing each hand for 30 seconds at a time. And then also just a reminder that when you're using gel polish on acrylic nails, you do not have to apply a base coat, only if you're applying the gel polish directly onto the natural nail, but not when you apply it over acrylic nails. But anyways, we went ahead and did a second coat of the white on this one, and then of course just cleaned up the smile line with my small brush and just dipped it into some acetone and just cleaning up the smile line. And know that acetone is not going to do anything to the gel polish, because we're not soaking it into the acetone. We're literally just, you know, wiping it off. But anyways, now we're going in with this other small nail art brush, and we're just going to be doing stripes all on this nail. So as you can see, I'm just going from the left side, going straight across to the left side, and I'm just going to do those stripes all over the nail, starting from the tip going up towards the cuticle area. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go in and do the Perfect Black by Madame Glam, and we're gonna be doing like the little cow prints, and these are just not dots, but they're kind of like, you know, just random spots on there. So just wiggle your brush as you're doing this, so it's not just, you know, a circle. It kind of has, you know, other little bumps to it as well, or not bumps, but you know what I'm talking about. So it's just gonna be random spots, and you can make them different sizes. As you can see, I did some really small ones, some bigger ones, some medium ones. So just fill up the entire nail, but make sure that you still, you know, of course, leave some white in between. After this, we're going to move on to the other hand while that one cures. For this one, we're going to go ahead and do basically the same thing we did on the other finger, except for this one, we're going to do the brown at the back, and we're going to be doing the black on the tip. Alrighty, so we're gonna cure this one, and then for this ring finger, we're gonna just do the brown at the back, and then we're gonna clean up the small line, or actually this one, instead of a small line, is just gonna be like straight across, and this one we're just gonna leave the tip clear, and then we're gonna come back and add some bling to this one at the end. For the next finger, we're gonna be doing an ombre with what is it, French Vanilla by D&D and Coffee Time by Madame Glam. So I'm just going in and doing a thin layer of the what is this, ballet slippers by Essie, and this one is actually a regular nail polish, and I use that as my base for my ombres. For this pinky, we're gonna do just all white, and this is Perfect White by Madame Glam. And then also I do have a promo code for Madame Glam, so I will be sure to leave that link down below for anyone that is interested. As you guys know, I love their polishes so much, and I do highly recommend them. For this time, we're just gonna go ahead and do the entire nail just brown, and then I am of course going in and doing a second coat of all of these, but I know I'm doing so much switching back and forth, so I don't know if you guys are noticing it, but I always do 2 coats of all of my gel polishes. Alrighty, so now we're going in with the French Vanilla, which is a regular nail polish, and I'm using the Coffee Time, which is a gel polish, and I'm gonna go in and do the ombre with it. Obviously you can see that you can do the ombre with the gel polish, but as you can see, the Coffee Time, which is the gel polish, goes on a lot lighter than the other one, which is the regular nail polish. So we just have to go in and come in with a second coat, but you still have to cure it even though you did it with the sponge. But again, that was the gel polish, Coffee Time, and then the other one was regular nail polish, but you still have to go in and do a base so the colors will stick to the nail. We're just applying now a second coat on the other nails, and we're going to go ahead and cure this hand for 30 seconds, and then we're going to do a second coat on the other hand as well. Alrighty, so now we're going to go in with the young nail brush, and we're going to be doing the zebra print on this one in white, which is the Perfect White, and we're just going to do the lines randomly on the nail. Usually what I do when I do my zebra is I do one on one side, one on the other side, one on the other side, one on the other side, and I just alternate from side to side. And then I also like to throw one in that kind of looks like a triangle, if you see there, and then I do a small one in between the little triangle, and then just small ones, you know, like in between the bigger ones. I'm gonna go in and do a second coat of the ombre nail. So same thing, just apply the French Vanilla, which is a regular nail polish, and the Coffee Time, which is a gel polish, and just gently dabbed it on the nail. I applied a little bit more of the Coffee Time to make it, you know, more not brighter, but you know, to add more color to it. And then we're gonna go ahead and cure that, but before, we're gonna go in and just do the zebra on this one, and this one is in the color Perfect Black. But again, as you can see, I'll alternate from side to side. I do one of the ones that look like a little triangle, and then we just fill in the entire nail with the zebra print, and it looks really pretty. Alrighty, y'all, so now we're going to go ahead and apply the bling on this hand. So I'm going to be applying some bigger pieces as well as my SS6 and SS12. I'm using my Acrylic nail adhesive, my wax pencil, and we're just applying the bling right in the middle on this nail where the color and the natural, or not natural, but the clear tip meets. And we applied a rhombus right in the middle, a SS12 on each side with some SS6, on the sides as well. And then for the marble nail, we're gonna go in, or sorry, not marble, but for the ombre nail, we're gonna do just scattered around the entire nail. Instead of doing glue on the entire nail, I just went in and just did not dits, but dots of glue on the entire nail, and then just placing the bling on the nail. And then of course, if we need to go in and apply a few more, we can do so. And then on the middle finger, we're just gonna outline the small line with the small SS6. Alrighty, so for this thumb, we're going to go in and just do the bling around the cuticle area. So same thing, just apply the Soleil nail adhesive, and then we're just outlining the cuticle area with the SS12. After this, we're going to go in and just spray the nails with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator, which is going to help that glue dry a lot faster. And then after this, we're going to go in with the Nail Supply Glamour gel top coat, which I think is called Diamond top coat, and I do have a promo code for them, so I'll be sure to leave that down below. And literally, I just picked up the first top coat that I found in my drawer. I have some D&D, I have some Madam Glam, and I had this one, so I just picked this one up first, but all of them are really good. Alrighty, so while the first hand dries, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for this one. So we're going to outline the small line with the SS6 on this one. We're going to add some bling on the ring finger around the cuticle area. And on the index finger, we're going to do some in the middle with a rhombus in the middle. And then the SS6 and the SS12 on the sides. For this thumb, we're going to go in and just do dots just like we did on the other finger on the other hand. And then we're going to go in and apply the SS6 just randomly on the nail. Alrighty, so after we finish applying the bling, we sprayed the nails with the activator, and then now I'm just going in with a top coat. After this, we're going to be applying the cuticle oil, which I'll be using the Young Nail Cuticle Oil, and we're just going to gently massage that on their cuticles, but you can use any cuticle that you would like. Sometimes I use mine, sometimes I use this one, whichever one I pick up first. And here is the final look. They turned out so freaking pretty. I love the zebra. I love the cow print. I love the bling placement. Like, everything about this set just turned out so pretty. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNo32. And I'll see you guys next time.